Hey guys, and welcome back to the Money Game with AC. If you find this information valuable, please, I really will appreciate if you give me a like. It really helps, push the channel to grow and bring this information to as much people as possible. Now, this inflation for this year has been going down, and that's why the market is running, right? The market has been running, and this is something that we previewed and we went through in the last video we posted on Tuesday, and the eve on the CPI and the PPI being released. So the good news is inflation is not only going down from a consumer standpoint, but it's also coming down from a producer standpoint. So it seems as if this way down from on prices, it's definitely here to stay, at least in the short term, and that's why people feel more comfortable now, because it means literally that, number one, the Fed may not be as aggressive. The Fed may not be as crazy, go in terms of keep increasing interest rates, because that's really bad for investing, the stock market, the crypto market, the real estate market. But definitely, it also may sound that all the recession fears are definitely a little bit over exaggerated. But we are not there yet. We are not out of the weeds totally, because we need to have some sort of consistency, and that is where I do need to update you guys on my thoughts, because when I look at things, especially what is happening with the energy space, the energy sector, we do know energy has a lot to play in inflation. I think this might not be something that will be consistently dropping in the next coming months. Maybe in the next coming months, but as we get to, getting into winter, things might start to pick up again. And that's why I want you guys to be aware of this, because it will definitely give you some insights into how to move your money in maybe some of the stocks you might be investing or trading now. Because even though today gas prices fall below $4 per gallon for the first time in months, we're talking about nationwide here, folks. So here in Texas, where I think we are the cheapest in terms of oil prices at the pump, we are below 350, maybe around 348, maybe 340 something. But there are still places where, it's like 450 or maybe, 460, so this is nationwide. But it's good because it means prices are definitely cooling down. And whenever oil is down, you can expect prices of everything else, food, products, clothing, everything else to be down. Now, the good thing about this is, if you are willing or seeking for some of the stocks that will go higher now that inflation is starting to go back down, definitely retail space are one good sector, because whenever prices go down, it means that our purchasing power increases. So you're going to have, at least from a psychological standpoint, people feel like things are not that bad, or are not as bad as they used to be. So I feel more comfortable into going and spending that money. All right, so it makes more revenue for those companies, especially as we have the back to school coming. So look out for companies such as Dick's Sporting Goods, Nike, definitely, and then the retailers. All right, the retailers, the Kohl's, those guys, all right, the Targets and everything, those guys, Walmart and everything, they can have their share price starting to go up. But I also want to look at something here, where oil prices lifted as the International Energy Agency is boosting the demand forecast. Now, the whole rationale behind prices falling, it's mainly because of what the President Biden administration has been doing lately. They have been pumping oil from the SPR. The SPR are the Sovereign Petroleum Reserve from the United States, and they are sitting at lowest levels since the last 30 something years. Why? Because it's a matter of supply and demand, right? In order to bring the price of something down, you need to make sure supply is higher than demand. And right now, it's giving impression to the market that the supply is higher than the demand. And that is why oil has been dropping significantly since June, all right? But the thing is, once that stops, because they're drawing those levels empty, those reserves empty, so they're going to buy it back. And as they buy it back, it's going to continue to, it's going to reverse. We're going to now have the supply being way below the demand, especially as the International Energy Agency is now boosting the demand forecast, saying that the demand is going to be a lot more higher as we get into 2023, or remain higher after the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, this is the OPEC, its forecast for the demand growth in 2022. But the International Energy Agency actually lifted it, saying that we're going to have a lot more people needing to consume oil and oil-based things as we get into 2023. And I do believe, as we are sitting now in a position where, in a situation or a scenario where you look at what is happening in Ukraine and Russia, and in Europe, it's not getting gas from Russia anymore. So as we get into winter, they're going to be a conundrum for them. Either we lift the sanctions and we can now get gas in order to fuel, and get heat, or we keep sanctions on and we find another way. But that another way will definitely mean burning more oil in order to get gas. So it's going to create another additional demand. So oil may continue to tick up. So I'm kind of prepping for that to happen, especially as we also have the hurricane season, but when you look at the oil stocks are pretty cheap right now. Oil prices are down, but energy companies' earning estimates keep rising. So these companies are making even more money now than when oil was sitting at 80, 70, Seems like a no-brainer to me, folks. So based on this, my recommendation as what I'm doing, on the short term with my kind of day trading, swing trading, or short-term investing trading is to remain invested into energy stocks, especially as we'll get into the latter part of this year, because their earnings show that they're going to either buy back their own shares, which means that the share price can continue to sustainably go higher, but give some sort of high dividend, which is kind of what we want. We want to have money while we sleep in the form of true passive income. And also crypto. Crypto is also going up based on this inflation cooling off, which was one of my expectations. So I think so far I'm up, average 50%, 50 to 60% average based on the lows I bought when Bitcoin was still around maybe the 19,000, Ethereum was still around maybe the 1,500. So, and I think it's going to continue to rise because people feel more comfortable now putting money into both crypto and the stock market, at least for the foreseeable short-term future.